Hi, everybody. So we are now at lesson 12.6 in Go Math. And after the mid-chapter checkpoint, the units of measure are going to switch to metric units of length. So we've done the customary units of length, which we're probably all more familiar with, inches, feet, and yards. So 12.6 here says our essential question, how can you use models to compare metric units of length? So you have a hands-on an investigation here. It is up to you if you want to do this. I'm going to read through it and help you answer the questions. So here's some vocabulary. Meters, which are abbreviated with the lowercase m. Decimeters, which are used very, very rarely for dm. Centimeters, cm, these are much more common. And millimeters, also more common. And you see their abbreviations, cm for centimeters and mm for millimeters, are all metric units of length. It says, build a meter stick to show how these units are related. Cut out the meter strips. Place the strips end to end to build 1 meter. Tape the strips together. Look at your meter strip. What patterns do you notice about the size of the units? So, all right. Well, it's like I said, you can do that. But let's just go through this. What the example is looking for here. So honestly, meters, centimeters, decimeters, they're all related. And you're going to see why here if you don't already know. So a decimeter is 10 centimeters. And 1 meter has 100 centimeters. So 1 meter would be 10 times as long as 1 decimeter, because deci here means 10. Kind of like decade, if I didn't have the I here, 10 years. So this is 10 centimeters to make a decimeter. 1 decimeter is 10 times as long as 1 centimeter. And centi here means 100 to make a meter. Deci here means 10 to make a meter. 1 centimeter, now watch out, we're switching to millimeters here. 1 centimeter is 10 times as long as 1 millimeter or millimeter. And a millimeter here is 1,000 of these are needed to make the meter stick. And now last week we saw, just your regular yardstick. Most yardsticks, if you flip them over, have the meter stick on the other side. One side's a little longer than the other, but you can definitely check those things. Most regular rulers have centimeters on the top and inches on the bottom. You can go check out a ruler and see what you find. So what's the pattern here? Well, the pattern is that when you look at a meter, each unit is 10 times either smaller or larger than the previous one. So the pattern here is that the metric system, they use base 10, meaning that everything is up to 10. A centimeter is, a millimeter is 10 times smaller than a centimeter. A decimeter is 10 times bigger than a centimeter. It just goes on and on. So they're always using base 10 here. You could say it goes up by 10, however you would want to do that. The example is okay. The math idea on the side says if you lined up 1,000 meter sticks end to end, the length of the meter stick would be 1 kilometer or kilometer, and that is absolutely true. So you can imagine how long that would be. All right, draw conclusions. Compare the size of 1 meter to the size of 1 centimeter. Use your meter stick to help. So 1 centimeter, if you look at your fingers, is about the distance across your little fingernail. It's not very big. A meter stick is much larger, more almost to the point, a little bit right around the size of a yardstick. So in here, we're going to say that 1 meter is 100 times as long as a centimeter. And the clue really is in the prefix here. Centi means 100. So I need 100 centimeters to equal 1 meter. So there's some helpful hints in that. It actually does work a little easier on the math when you do meters versus inches, feet, and yards, but we're less familiar with it, which makes it a little bit more difficult. All right, I'm going to close this snippet sketch out, and we are moving on. So next slide here. Compare the size of 1 meter to the size of 1 millimeter. Use your meter strip to help. So the same idea here is happening in that you're going to have to show the relationship between them. So this is important to kind of get the concept of it. So 1 millimeter is about like the tip of your lead pencils. So when you see lead that is 0.7 or 0.5, that is the size in millimeters of your lead. So if you have a 0.5, you would need 2 leads side by side to make 1 millimeter. Some lead pencils are 1.0 lead, and that is 1 millimeter. So imagine the point of your pencil is a millimeter. You need 1,000 of those to make a meter. So on here, we're going to say that 1 meter is 1,000 times as long as a millimeter. And again, learning your prefixes in here, where milli is 1,000, you would need 1,000 millimeters to make the entire meter. It's giving you kind of the clue within the word. All right, think smarter. What operation could you use to find how many centimeters are in 3 meters? So let's talk a little bit about that. So you want to go find how many centimeters first are in 1 meter. And you're going to find that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters or cms. All right, now my question says I need 3 meters. So I'm going to take my 100, and in one of 2 ways, I'm going to find out how many centimeters are in 3 meters. The first way is multiplication. There are 300 centimeters in 3 meters. Or because it's only 3, you could add. Each one of these is my length of a meter written as centimeters, so 100 centimeters plus 100 centimeters plus 100 centimeters will still give you 300 centimeters. So you decide on your explanation here. How are you going to proceed with this question? Do you want to multiply? Do you want to add? That's your choice. So hopefully that helps you out on this question. Let's go ahead and close the spin sketch to see the bottom. All right, in the make connections. I want to try to get this all in. There we go. So if you like multiplying by 10 and dividing by 10, this is going to really work for you. Okay. You can use different metric units to describe the same length. For example, you can measure the length of a book as 3 decimeters or 30 centimeters. Since the metric system is based on the number 10, decimals or fractions can be used to describe metric lengths as equivalent units. Think of 1 meter as one whole. You use your meter strip to write equivalent units as fractions and decimals. All right. So let's take a look at this. 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. So each decimeter is blank or blank of a meter. Excuse me. So we're going to use a fraction and a decimal. So if I need 10 decimeters to equal a meter, that is 1/10 as a fraction, or 0.1 as a decimal. You could do 0.01 or 0.10 for a decimal if you wanted to kind of see that 10 right there. This last zero is optional, just so you know. But I kind of like seeing it as 10. I think it makes it a little easier to compare with the fraction. All right, next part here, 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, where each centimeter, and remember we talked about centi meaning 100, is 1/100th or 0.01. Now, this zero is super important. You must have this. It's holding a place value for the tenths place in decimals, and it's the difference between having 1 penny or having a dime or 10 pennies, 10 cents. So if you think about that zero here in the middle, it is very important to show that this is 1/100th, whereas back over here, this zero is simply saying the difference between having a dime and having 10 pennies. So that's probably the trickiest situation there. Let's go ahead and move on, see if it comes up again. Okay, complete the sentence. A length of 51 centimeters or blank is blank or blank of a meter. Okay, so again, our key here is centi. So I'm going to start with the fraction, and I'm going to say it's 51 hundredths or 0.51. And you can really see the connection here with the 51 here, and then you really see the 51 right there. A length of 8 decimeters, so deci here meaning 10. So you'd have 8 tenths or 0.8. Now again here you could put the 0. I'm going to leave it off this time and just show you the 8 tenths. A length of 82 centimeters, so centi for 100 and 82 or 0.82. Notice that when I have 82 I have to list it, I guess the decimeter is 1. If it was only 80 like the previous one, you could actually leave it as 0.8 or 0.80, but don't get confused on that. All right, mathematical practices. Explain how you were able to locate and write decimeters and centimeters as part of a meter on the meter stick. All right, I will leave that to you to discuss at your homes at your leisure. Okay, I believe this is the end of the second page, so I am going to end this video and start a new one for the actual problems in this lesson. All right, guys, I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.